John Cena's final Boston show is in the books, and once again, the champ is here.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, world? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watch Along Wrestling, and I'm a wrestling content creator from Long Island, New York. Thanks so much for checking out the video. Monday Night Raw just went off the air a little bit ago as I am here with all of you, and honestly thought it was a very good episode of Raw that I almost feel like was a tale of two Raws, because for the first hour of the show, it was almost primarily focused on John Cena and his final appearance in Boston, and really this has actually been the focus of the entire day for all things WWE, and I was this close, I'd say probably this close to making the trek from New York to Boston. Really thought about it around 11 a.m. to noon. I was like, if I'm going to go, it's going to be now. And so I considered it. I didn't go. I feel like if I had gone, it would have been a great experience. And I think it probably was something that I think meant a lot to John Cena, because if you think about it, he really hasn't had that quintessential Boston moment. I had talked with all of you when I was doing the t-shirt unboxing yesterday, and he hasn't had like that amazing Boston moment. And I think tonight he certainly did have that moment. And they were pulling out all the stops for this. They had footage in the middle of the day with Cena doing the signature, signing all the different pictures that he's done for many years. He and Punk were kind of sequestered in a room together doing that and looking like they were having a good time with it. He ended up signing 1,000 of those. And the picture he signed was specific to Boston, which I always think every single time they do those signatures, those little autographs, it should really be focused on the city that you're at. It doesn't take WWE too much more effort to print a brand new picture for the cities, but imagine instead of you just getting that signed CM Punk picture, it's a CM Punk picture that has the date of the show or your city on that picture. I think it really goes a long way and could be a really nice souvenir for your city if you go to. From there, they also had an exclusive Golden John Cena program that was on sale there, and they also had, obviously, the John Cena shirts. This place, you had green t-shirt guy in the front row, and you had green t-shirt guy all over this building. Everybody had the John Cena shirts. And if you did get that exclusive merch, I mean, I've seen those signed Boston pictures online already selling for like $200. Same thing for the programs. Gonna probably outprice me for those, especially with a couple other shows of my own coming up. But they've done such a great job with the exclusive merch for the Cena stuff. And you could really see that by the idea that the entire place was green. It felt like the city of Boston was decked out in green. And I anticipate, and I know we don't know yet what the New York shirt is going to be. I hope that it's on sale tomorrow on WWE Shop. I anticipate you're going to see a lot of orange and blue, and you'll get your Knicks colors since they've already done Giants and Jets. They could very easily still do, I guess, Rangers colors as well, but I think it's probably going to be your orange and blue here for New York next week. So that remains to be seen. But Cena came out. They ended up, they showed kind of the backdrop of the area where it had a bunch of John Cena pictures and of his appearances in Boston through the years with each one of the dates. That was kind of decked out in the hallway as they showed the folks coming in. And then Triple H actually kicked off the show, another Boston native, introduced Cena to the masses. He came out, looked very emotional right from the start. You could tell that with each one of these final appearances, it's starting to really hit him that we're so close to the final stop on this farewell tour. And it's interesting from a perspective of Cena was not really active. If you think about it, he was not really full-time since 2018, right? Maybe even a little before that. So yes, he still was around and had matches through the years and had the John Cena Summer Tour in 2021. He had that brief run in 2023 that was kind of mid. But then he really hasn't been such a big focal part of the show. But with him returning to WWE for this farewell tour, he's basically been the show. I'm actually very interested to see how things are when he wraps up his farewell tour and ends up leaving WWE, because I think things are going to be very different. You've kind of had the back of your mind these final dates of the John Cena tour that have been, in many ways, a big focal point of the company. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, many more big names there. But I thought this stuff was great. Cena had some time to address the crowd and was interrupted by Dominic Mysterio. Now, there had been some rumors online that Cena was going to have a match in Boston, and Cena had even made it clear that he specifically asked to have one of these dates in Boston. He said he doesn't pick the dates. He doesn't pick, and that was in reference to the crowd booing December 13th heavily. I made a joke with my buddy Randy Turco about the fact that Minnesota, when he went to a Minnesota show, which was heavily rumored to be getting WrestleMania 41 for a long period of time before it eventually did get SummerSlam 2026, when they showed the preview and he went to a Raw in Minnesota of WrestleMania 41 coming to Las Vegas, the place booted out of the building. And so I do think there is a certain amount of sour grapes, I'd say rightfully so, for Cena in Boston not getting the final show. So when he mentioned December 13th, place booted out of the building, which was kind of funny and a good kind of throwback there. But what ended up happening was he did mention December 13th, and he also mentioned that not only is it going to be his final match, but it's also going to be something he's saying that he requested, and I have no reason to believe this isn't the case. It's going to be WWE versus NXT exhibition matches. Is this lighting my world on fire? No, it's not lighting my world on fire. I think you could have some fun stuff there. It's kind of cool. But let's be honest, this show, the final show, is all about John Cena's final match. Didn't matter what you put on before that. You got about 2 hours of people coming out saying their favorite John Cena memories before the final match, and I think that would have been fine. But they end up doing this instead. I think you could have some fun matchups, and this is Cena's way of kind of closing the chapter of his career and giving back to the future with these NXT versus WWE matches. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be cool. Again, they don't need to do too much. Tickets are still available, but very few for that final show and very highly priced. So who knows? Let's see how it goes as the weeks kind of unwind here toward the John Cena's final show. But that is where they're going. They're going to be doing exhibition matches leading up to his final match. But then his promo did wrap up again with Dominic Mysterio coming out, interrupting, and on the spot, it was named that Dominic Mysterio would be defending the Intercontinental Championship against John Cena. And I expected 100%, I expected someone would run out, cost him a match, and maybe that would lead to a match with Cena and that person at MSG. Dom would get disqualified. Never in a million years did I think John Cena was going to win the Intercontinental Championship. And then he did. So John Cena is the new Intercontinental Champion. Good match, back and forth, couple of really close near falls. At the end, Cena, and they even did a deal where they did a ref bump. Like, they almost wanted to tease you into thinking maybe this was going to be a DQ finish. But no, you got a clean victory for Cena. He gets the win. A lot of fun pieces during this match here. Kind of some homage to Eddie Guerrero, which was really cool. Go out of your way to check it out if you haven't seen it. And Cena wins the Intercontinental Championship, gets on the mic and says the champ is here. So, I mean, you think about it. This guy has gotten farewell tour dates, 36 of them throughout this entire year. He's gotten exclusive merch for an exclusive title in most of the cities for each one of these cities that he has gone to. He got to win the Never Seen 17 World Championship in the main event of WrestleMania this past year. And now he becomes the Grand Slam champion, completing the only championship he never won, the Intercontinental title. Unbelievable. And now this adds a further wrinkle into, well, where does it go from here? Is John Cena going to be defending this championship next week in Madison Square Garden? I hope so. That'd be cool. And now, is the tournament, if Cena is still your Intercontinental Champion, at the end of that, when it comes to his final match, which I believe he will be, would that then mean that the winner of this tournament will be your Intercontinental Champion? I think it is going to be that way. And LA Knight cut a fantastic promo on one of those kind of strange, I guess it's commercial break promos they do for folks, I guess somewhere that have an ad-free version of Netflix that allows them to not watch any ads. I have an ad-free version of Netflix. I get a plethora of commercials during my Raw viewing experience, so I don't see any of these. But I think somewhere somebody must, because there's a bunch of them that are cut. LA Knight cut this great promo and said, hey, why do I care about dream matches? Why do I care about John Cena? But now I do care, because what I do care about is gold, and I'm coming for that Intercontinental Championship. Great promo from LA Knight. Had me kind of hyped to hopefully see LA Knight win the tournament. I think that would be really cool and a lot of fun. I don't anticipate that happening, but I think it would be cool. And so, yeah, that was the Cena involvement. Went about 52 minutes to an hour, somewhere around there. He got up and he said, I can't, now I leave Boston, and you've given me the opportunity to once again say the champ is here. Great final appearance in Boston for John Cena. He walks out with his head held high, holding the championship, and away we go. 3 more dates remain. New York City next week. I'll be there. I can't wait for it. His final Survivor Series in San Diego, and then his final match in Washington, D.C. It's going to be a fun ride here, an emotional ride to wrap up John Cena's in-ring career. And then, by the way, there was a full episode of Raw that took place immediately after all the Cena stuff. They had actually a pretty loaded Raw. 2 John Cena tournament matches. We'll start with those. Both were very good. You had Rusev defeating Damian Priest. A little surprising, honestly. I feel like with Damian Priest, he was somebody who I think was right on the precipice of becoming a super top guy for WWE right around SummerSlam 2024. He had the debut of his 24 documentary special. I think it could have gone all the way with him. Instead, they kind of flipped the title, had him lose it to Gunther, and I don't think he ever recovered. I think he needed that title to be seen as a top guy, and now he loses to Rusev here. A lot more history between Rusev and Cena than there is Priest and Cena, so Rusev still looking for his revenge from that Mania 31 loss. And then from there, it was also Sheamus going up against Shinsuke Nakamura. I will give a shout out to my buddy Travis, who let me know that Sheamus actually beat John Cena for his first world title way back on December the 13th, 2009. Of course, John Cena's final match, December the 13th, 2005. Will Sheamus be the one to win this tournament and go after his elusive Intercontinental Championship? Now, I don't think so. I'll be perfectly honest. I do not think so. Sheamus has already had Edge's final match in WWE, and it feels to me like it's going to be someone toward the future that Cena's going to be losing or having this final match with, assuming he does end up losing. So I don't anticipate it being Sheamus, who is pretty close to Cena's age, maybe a year or two younger than Cena. So I don't anticipate that being the way they go. But Sheamus winning the Intercontinental Championship has been something they've been building up for a long period of time. That's his final step to become a Grand Slam champion. So it would be cool. It'd be emotional. Again, I don't see them going that way. But Sheamus and Rusev both advance. They did also announce some more matches for the next week's MSG show. It will be the returning Gunther, who we have not seen since SummerSlam, going up against Javon Evans from NXT. He's feeling bouncy, and I'm excited. This is going to be an awesome match. Whoever came up with this is going to be great. I'm sure Gunther beats him, but there'll be some really fun hope spots. Gunther has great matches with everyone. I know he's not everybody's cup of tea. I understand there might be people who maybe find him a little boring, but in all honesty, in-ring wise, I think the guy is fantastic. I think he has great matches with everyone. And you go back and even watch his kind of side TV feud that he had with American Alpha, the Alpha Academy rather, on the way to WrestleMania, the matches he had with Akira Tozawa, the matches he had with Otis, later on his match he had with Axiom. This guy has amazing matches with everyone, and that match is going to be so great. I can't wait for it next week. A lot of fun hope spots there. And then it will be my guy, Solo Sikoa. I'm hoping Solo Sikoa is the guy who goes all the way here. I don't think it's happening, but it would be cool. Cena's not avenged that loss to Solo from way back a couple of years ago. So it would be really cool, in my opinion, to see Solo run this tournament and get all the way to the end. And he will be facing a surprise entrant. So you have 2 surprise entrants. LA Knight is facing a surprise entrant on SmackDown, and then Solo Sikoa is facing a surprise entrant next week. Part of me, if I'm going to have to give my predictions on this, thinks it's going to be Nick Aldis on Friday, Adam Pearce on Monday. I know that's probably not lighting anyone's world on fire, but that's going to be my prediction. But I think also another way they can go with it certainly is Matt Cardona. It'd be cool to see him get an opportunity to be back on Raw. 14 years since I had been there at Survivor Series 2011 when the crowd was chanting for him in the midst of The Rock's promo to end that show. It'd be so cool to see him get that piece there. Elsewhere on the card, it was announced that it is... so they did have another match where it was Stephanie Vacour defending the her World Championship against Raquel Rodriguez, and she ended up winning the match, did Stephanie. After the match, I figured this was going to happen. I figured it was going to happen a little later, but it happened. Nikki Bella turns on Stephanie Vacour. It felt so strange seeing these two walking like best friends. They're just total opposites. So Nikki turns on Stephanie Vacour, lays her out. She's a fantastic heel. I think she's a better heel than she is a babyface. And I think they're going to have a fun feud. I think this is actually going to be something that I think Stephanie needs here to have this feud here with Nikki Bella. I expect them to have a match at the Survivor Series. And I think it's going to be pretty good. I think they're both going to be motivated to have a good match. And I'm looking forward to that. Nikki looked great. She turned heel. The crowd was completely caught off guard. This was something that they were really stoked for as well. And so we'll kind of see where it goes from there. We did get some build towards Wargames finally as well for the Survivor Series. So it will be so we don't have it official, but CM Punk laid out a challenge. CM Punk has a team consisting of Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes, and I've been hoping that Jey Uso is involved here because Jey Uso, if he is the main event of this year's Survivor Series, will get the record for most consecutive Survivor Series main events in history. It's either him or Sami Zayn. Both of them, if they are involved in that match, they will have an opportunity to have that distinction of the most consecutive Survivor Series main events in history. So happy for Jey Uso. I think that's kind of cool. And they laid out the challenge. Looks like it's going to be Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. Logan Paul was on the show, ended up bringing the Vision out with him. So it looks like that's where they're going to go. I hope they don't go 3-on-3 in Wargames. I hope they stick with the traditional 5-on-5, because I also think there's some fun here over these next 2.5 weeks to figure out who the final members of the teams are. So I hope that we do get the traditional 5-on-5 that WWE has been giving us since Survivor Series had taken place, at least on the men's side of things. And I think that'll be something to really look forward to. On the women's side of things, the main event tonight was for the Women's Tag Team Championship. It was the team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defending the championships against the Kabuki Warriors. And another big surprise here, another title change. It was announced that the Kabuki Warriors end up winning the match, win the titles, and then chaos ensues afterwards. Out come Lash Legend and Nia Jax. They get involved. Io Sky makes the save. They lay her out. Rhea Ripley makes the save. And Rhea Ripley then screams War Game. So a 4-on-4 setup, it looks like, for that. Who knows if somebody else will be involved. I will say, 4-on-4 isn't so bad for War Games. 3-on-3 I think is just too little. Pretty anticlimactic, if I'm being honest. So I hope we get 1 or 2 more folks in there, and I do believe we will. But 4-on-4 isn't so bad. These matches do tend to take a very long time when it's waiting for everyone to get into the ring. So if they shorten that out, especially without any eliminations, it's sometimes just waiting forever for the match to actually start. So if they do have that where it's 4-on-4, I don't think that is so bad. So I guess we'll see how that goes. It's going to be interesting. Will there be one woman more on each one of the teams? We could certainly get into that and try to think of if that's something we want to kind of fantasy book, so to speak. And then that was pretty much Raw. I thought Raw itself, again, very good show. The Cena stuff, I think, certainly was the highlight of the show. Looking forward to MSG next week. Again, 2 John Cena tournament matches. Solo Sikoa against a mystery opponent. And then you have, and I'll guess my official prediction will be Matt Cardona. I wouldn't rule out Adam Pearce. I think if Nick Aldis comes out on Friday night, I do think Adam Pearce is getting in the ring on Monday night. But we'll see. But I'll go with Matt Cardona as my official prediction there. Javon Evans going up against the returning Gunther. And for the Intercontinental Championship, the kind of culmination of that feud, Becky Lynch defending the title against, it will be Maxine Dupree. So I'll be there to cheer on Becky Lynch. I don't know if everyone else will, but Becky's my girl, and I'll be pumped for that and cheering her on. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Lots more coming your way here on Watch Along Wrestling. Let me know what you thought of tonight's show. Did you watch it live and all the way through? Let me know, or did you have to sit through that horrible football game? In which case, I do feel bad. You should go back and watch Raw. It was really good, and it's available on demand on Netflix. So enjoy. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. 3 more dates for John Cena, and then you can't see him.